things that they are happy about, worried about, things they've seen happening since they passed, if they're hanging out with you, where they're hanging out, which is like the creepiest and best part of the way that I work, because is that okay if I call you out? Is that all right? Did that happen with you too? Like, yeah, where they'll show me the location of the space? Yeah, it's super creepy. Because 9 times out of 10 I'm going, so if my head is at your headboard, and I was looking in your room, this is this way, and they show me where they're hanging out to get your attention, right? And then if they're giving you signs and symbols. If the signs and symbols that they're giving me don't make sense to you in this moment, then when you leave, you go, Chicky said, this is what you're doing, so pony up and show me. I want that stuff to happen before the end of the weekend. Thank you very much. And then just see what happens. Okay? So I'm just gonna start with some of the stuff that I've got written down, and hopefully we don't get derailed too much. So the male figure that approached me in the bathroom gave me that punch in the face feel. When I get a punch in the face feel, it's fast, quick, traumatic, unexpected, and not a proper goodbye. He does come in younger, not older. I would say like maybe early 20-ish. There is, when my family structure, or within my family structure, is similar to yours, they'll show me my family structure because I have control issues and I like being right. So in that little bit of who I am, when they show me my family structure repeatedly, then I know the name or something about that person in my family structure is similar to yours. So I'm gonna spit some names out and then you let me know where we're rolling. And twice, one name came up in particular. So my daughter's name is Brooklyn. So there's a Brooke or a Brooklyn?
A Brooke.
Are you Brooke?
No.
Okay, Chicky. So my daughter's name is Brooklyn. My granddaughter's mother, I have goosebumps, like I'm shaking from head to toe. So my granddaughter's mom is Brianna. So there's a Brianne or a Brianna within this family structure. Are we good? Can I keep going?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Well, no.
That's my son's half sister.
Okay. So my sister's Christy.
Oh gosh. Our sister is Christy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, like my heart is going whoop, 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 right out of my chest. When he came in the bathroom, it was right in my face where normally, well, you're in the bathroom stall, so it's not like you can go.
My heart.
Sea biscuit. Because he was super excited. His hair is kind of thick and it kind of comes to one side. And I am from like Northern Ontario. So there is a disconnect between like being with people or not with people, being able to be with him. There's a disconnect physically. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
At the time that he passes.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Northern, like I have told so I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, all my family is up there, so I still feel further north. I told my kids when I die, I want to be cremated and shot off in a firecracker at Montreal River Harbor, which is near Wawa, so. And I know how to haunt them. So the firecracker thing needs to happen. Is that making sense for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a male figure standing behind him that I feel passed first, which does have a grandfather feel. It does feel like I'm kind of more on the dad's side maybe than the mom's side. Does that make
Could be grandpa or it could be papa.
There's a grandpa that feels like it's attached to the dad. Does that make sense? How is he attached to you guys?
The young one?
The male figure that's coming through in spirit, yes.
My
Like,
son.
He's your son? I'm very sorry. He's bringing me, he's bringing me down to the end of May, beginning of June. Does that make sense?
He passed on May 27th.
Okay. He's pretty adamant, and I'll tell you when he was coming through, he was grabbing my wrist, And when they do that, I wrote down that they can manipulate space. When they grab my wrist, it means that they're doing things to let you know that they are around. The front of my head gets really heavy when that happens. There's usually some kind of mental health or depression related issues. Does that make sense for you?
Anxiety.
I'm really sorry. He really gives me that fast, fast but traumatic, unexpected, not a proper goodbye feel in this. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to show you. Because he corrected me. Okay, my papers are
That's so
him.
him.
I don't need these today, but I need them to see far away. So at first I thought he was saying Amelia, but then he corrected me like 3 times and told me I got it wrong. But I did write what the fuck beside it because he was yelling in my ear. And then
That's him.
Like it was so loud. I swear. We're good, right? I need to put my glasses on to see if you guys horrified that we're all good, right? Okay. Alyssa. It's the double A, it's Alyssa. Really.
That's her. That's his little sister.
So it was so loud. Your name came up so loud. So Brooke was easier because it's in my family structure for me to see my sister or my daughter, so I knew to get there. But your name was like, I was standing at the bar and he was standing to my left and yelling it in my ear so loud. So the what the fuck is not you. It was just
Might have been too.
Okay. He keeps apologizing. I wrote down and I stuck it in quotes because it's how I was hearing it word for word, that he's sorry if he was ever a pain in the neck. He comes in social, outgoing, all of that stuff. And he just, is the family like either divided or blended? Because he's showing me this division within the family structure. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a second. And to be honest, he like just kept dogging me. When people in spirit touch me a lot, it feels like when you're cleaning out like a dusty attic or a garage and you have to have that shower to rinse off. So that's why I have the cloth and why I kept going to the bathroom to rinse my hands off. Because they're touchy to me. Let's see where it goes. His name is really long.
Yeah.
Like really long. My daughter is Brooklyn Patricia Chicopelli. And so when she was little, she's like, I'm never gonna learn how to spell it. Of course you will, because kids are mean and assholes and they'll tease you. So you'll learn, eventually you'll learn. His is longer. Oh, he just showed me he's got this super long name.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And there's a name in there that's different. Like my grandpa's, his name was Aurelius. So there's a name that's, I know it's not Aurelius, but it's like something different.
His second middle name is Augustus.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, makes sense.
Here it is, Augustus.
It's
Pretty long.
Does that make sense? He's slender. He's not
Yeah.
a really big kid. So I want to be as transparent as possible, okay? So, yeah. When he's showing me that he can manipulate space, 2 things keep happening electrical, so anything that's electrical, lights flicking, he's showing me all of that stuff happening. I feel like I have a cell phone in the back pocket, so the back pocket feels it's more like on the right than the left, so he's showing me he can make notifications go off, he can make it vibrate, but there's nothing on that, on the cell phone. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And the living room that I'm going to feels almost like where it's L-shaped, where it's open into like where the dining room kitchen would be, like you can see right into this space that I'm going into. Does that make sense for you? Right there. He said like watching him, you watch videos of him showing that. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, he is showing me that actions contribute to his passing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm very sorry. This is a hard position because he comes in light, smiling, laughing, needing people to know that he's peaceful and okay, and he is crossed over. Like, this isn't about being stuck, this is just about feeling free from all of the heavy thoughts and the self-numbing choices that he was making. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. He was talking about not to worry about him, that he knows that it wasn't a proper goodbye, that he is okay, doing his best to get in, like, to do those things, to get your attention, and he's going to do it a lot. So more than one person in more than one house is going to have those experiences. And he keeps giving me needles at my arm up here. When that happens, it's always tattoo related, but he keeps talking about the two. So there's two tattoos that he's showing me, not one, two different people, either with similar ones, but there's two. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You guys have like the medium-sized dog as well too? Medium to small. That's kind of.
Both.
Uh-huh. So is the smaller of the two crossed? Like,
The larger is crossed.
okay, so it's hitting the dog is hitting me about here. Is where it's bumping up against me. Yeah, I don't like it when pets come in, it's super creepy. It's like standing in a lake and something touches you and you don't know what it is. But there's a dead dog.
That's what I was thinking.
And it's smaller, not big.
Widow would have been about that
Yeah,
size.
I forgot, yeah.
And its hair feels
About
soft.
a month before.
If it's a dog coming through with him,
Yes.
Yeah.
my son brought home a dog as a joke on April Fool's. And she fell in love with it, so I said, yes, we could keep it. The dog passed on Mother's Day, and then my son passed on May 27th.
I just know he's very
And it-
adamant about saying he's got
Yeah.
his dog with him, and the two of them are like side by side. It's not big.
It was a puppy. When he
Yeah,
passed, the
it's
puppy
just
was
little
6
and
months.
it's soft. Like when I put my hands through it, I can feel that it's super soft. The two of them are side by side. And that's maybe why he kept yelling your name so loud in my ear. So loud. You guys have a good support system? Outside, like, grief counselor or something? You guys good?
Apparently I have 1 more month to wait before he can do the grief counseling. Apparently they say 4 months before you get to go into the group. Cause
Well,
I
it leaves
did
me
call
with a little
back
bit
in
of a what
June.
the fuck, especially if there's trauma, but, you know.
I
guess don't
did
understand all of it.
call, but they said because we were still within we weren't within 4 months yet.
Uh-huh.
That in a group setting, when you have people that are kind of like AA, where you've got somebody who's been recovered for a few years, but then you've got somebody new.
Yeah.
They were like, when somebody new and with the group that's new, it should be about you and not having to listen to other people that have their sons or
Right.
Others have passed
Okay.
before, they have more time under their belt. So they said that they usually don't recommend grief counseling until the 4th month. So I have 1 more month to go. So until then, I cry on my baby sister and I cry on my best friend.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you have them. And for your kiddos as well too, that your kiddos have that safe space. So I don't wanna feel like I'm putting salt in those raw wounds and then you go home and have no support system that if you're needing that outside of here, I'm okay with that. And what happens here stays here. We treat it like babies. Nobody's, yeah, business to share. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of the mental health stuff is very loud to me, like, it's very, so, and it's weird because he's so social and loud that, feeling the insecurities and the negative self-talk feels counterintuitive to what his personality is on the outside, right? And he is giving me needles at my arm, so when I get needles at my arm and I feel sick to my stomach, the way that I do, there's drinking or addictions, within a family structure. Is, well, there's some drinking or some of the people that are drinking.
The only thing he was addicted to was pot.
No, this is not him.
Oh, not him.
This is within the family, structure that he's
Oh.
going to.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for that, yeah. I just kept thinking, I don't drink.
Who is this?
That's Papa. That's his Papa that passed 3 years before he did. And he used to be an alcoholic.
Totally a drinker. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So, the weird, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So he keeps that guy, you showed me what his name, is that okay if I say that loud?
Yeah.
Okay. I wrote Len, it just says Len. Yeah, I don't think that he, it doesn't connect to him either, like he said, the not, feeling comfortable about talking about mental health, there's supports but not supports, there's having a brave face but not showing, he said that sort of stuff is what is trying to be healed and that they are trying to work on that on the other side, so the rest of the family structure doesn't suffer from those same, following that same pattern, right? So, yeah. He is, showing me, the cell phone is a big one, and he's showing me either listening to his voice or having a clip of his voice, so playing this clip repeatedly over and over. He's showing me a disconnect between getting his stuff, so his stuff feels spread out. I don't understand why, but.
It could be because he was in an accident on May 27th up north. I can't even pronounce it, Chattawaku Corners, just outside of Thunder Bay and Wraith. And my son had a smartwatch that he absolutely loved. And that's the only thing that didn't make it home with him. We can't find the watch.
They found the watch bands, but not the watch.
Yeah, we found, apparently the wreckers found the bands, but we can't find the watch.
Gotcha.
And it's been weighing heavily on everybody wanting the
Yeah,
watch
he's
back.
showing me his stuff wasn't all there, his stuff got spread out.
It was all over the road.
Yeah. This is what I need to get you to do. Whoop. Write down your email address, and if you shows me more on my ride home. I'll just let him come home with me.
He
Then,
won't complain.
well, he's certainly not shutting up, so
That sounds like him too.
just give me your email address and then I'll email you.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Just because there's a room full of other people.
Yes, no, I know. They're all waiting.
It's okay, he's lovely. His hair is really thick and he keeps moving it off the side.
Second floor.
Yeah, he keeps moving it over.
Yeah.
Are you guys okay? Yeah.
My daughter and my son were best friends. There was a big age difference. She's 16. He would have just turned 24 in like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they were best friends. He took her everywhere. He'd pick her up from school. He would bring her to school when he wasn't working.
He yelled that name so loud, it wasn't even funny.
That makes so much sense.
Yelled Alyssa in my ear when I was standing at the bar. So I'm glad that we were able to connect you guys. He's not showing me any other, like, he's very clear that he can be seen. So he's showing me that he's wanting to validate that you're seeing him, especially in that space that feels open, like there's something about the space feeling open. And then the lights flickering. But I do see like those fairy lights as well too, like stringed lights. So he's showing you stringed lights up somewhere.
Do you have your lights up?
No, but he put them up.
That's true. He did put up her fairy lights.
There's fairy lights. And those what are they called? Instax?
Oh, the Insta cameras?
Yeah, like the Polaroids, but they're smaller that
Yeah,
have the
Instax.
instant film. There's something about those.
That one I don't.
I'm just leaving it with you because and it looks mint-green.
She has the photo of the guy.
Definitely gave me a Polaroid
Mhm.
of him.
That's one of those
And he
pictures.
said no voice.
Oh, yeah. She had a Polaroid. And Tyler said no voice.
And there's a Polaroid of my friend.
And it was a Polaroid of a Polaroid.
What did he say about it?
She,
He kind of just said like no boys. Like he doesn't
he's
like.
teasing you about the Polaroid?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use the Polaroid when I do paranormal investigations because you can't muck with it. You can't change it. So when stuff shows up on the Polaroid, it's there. So I use the Polaroid all the time. Just letting you know.
he shows up in the Alexa.
With the Alexa?
With Alexa. He did that, 2 weeks ago? I've got an orb, 5 days after he passed? 6?
Yeah, it was almost.
That looks like he's walking right into my front door from the street.
Wow. He was pretty adamant, and honestly, he came right into the bathroom stall, but his face was right here in front of me, like, he was super loud.
Yeah, he was a mama's boy. He would tell everybody that his mom was his best friend.
I'm really sorry. I'm glad that he could connect so loudly with you and then came through for you tonight. Okay, so the male figure that I have feels about average height. I'm not sure.
Are you serious?
I don't know, he wants to say that he's 5'9", but I don't really know.
Last time I saw the attic with a project that was on that place all the time.
He's giving me that lymph node is super swollen, so cancer, sepsis, some kind of infection in my system. I feel like there's some anxiety or some heart-related issues also on top of all of that. Joker, teaser, hands-on worker, all that kind of stuff. Is right in this center section. Perfect. Now we get to go.